So now this is part 2 of the Access Database Project 17. You should have already typed in all of the records on page 431. So now let's pretend like I have all of those records in. Unfortunately, I only have 5 of them. But we are looking at, I'm still in the table, and you should be on page 431. So I'm going to close this table in case I still have it open. And we're going to go to the Create tab at the top. And you're going to click on, in the Reports group, you're going to click on Report. And immediately, without even having to do anything special, yours will have much more information because you have more data typed into your table, but it automatically creates a report right at the beginning, and you don't even have to do anything special. So now we're going to go up to the top and we're going to hit the Save button, and we're going to type in, it already has it named Famous Reformers, and we're going to click after that and add the word report at the end and hit OK. And now you see that the report shows up over on the left in the same panel as our other 2 items. So now we're going to turn the page and go to page 435. You can close your report. Now, the last thing that we're going to create for this project is a query. And you can look at information about a query on page 435. But basically what a query is kind of like the filter that we used in Microsoft Excel. It gives us the ability to isolate or pull just a certain amount of information out of all of our large table and isolate just a small, or filter out just a small amount of information that is specific to what we need. So we're going to go to the Create tab at the top, and we are going to click on the Query Design button. And immediately that opens up the background or the design view of a query. And it asks, this is in case you ever have multiple tables that you want to pull information from at the same time. But we only have one table, so we'll choose Famous Reformers and Add, and you have to hit the Close button. Now this opens up and shows us, now I'm going to drag it a little bit larger and increase the size so that we can see all of our field names that are in the Famous Reformers table, so I can see them all at one time. Now, the fields that I need to include in my query are, and we're just going to double click on them right here. We're going to double click on first name, and notice that when I double click on it, it comes up or shows up down here at the bottom. And double click on middle name, then last name, born, died, and concern. So we have them all lined up here. The reason that there's a check mark there is that means that the information and that heading or field name will actually show up in the query. And now we're going to put in what criteria we want for our query. So we're going to tell the table to only isolate or show certain records. And so we're going to go to the died field, and we're going to go to the criteria row. So right here, the died field criteria row. And we're going to type in greater than sign and 1920. No spaces or anything like that. And what this means is we want to show only records of people, these famous reformers, who died after 1920. So they died from 1920 and later. Those are the records that are going to be shown. Also, we are going to add another criteria, and that's concern. We are going to type in the criteria row for concern, we're going to type equals, no spaces, women's suffrage. Now, it is very, very important that you make sure to type in all of your information in this criteria row correctly, because if you spell a word wrong here, you spell it differently than you did over here in the table, it won't show up. Now we are going to go to the Run button right here. It looks like a red exclamation point. And so you'll see it only shows people who died after 1920 and whose concern is suffrage. But just so you'll know, I'm going to open up my famous reformers table. So I had those 2 people in there, but I had other ones. So this query, due to the criteria that we typed in, it isolated or filtered out the other ones that we didn't want. So we're going to go up, and yours should look just like this one. And we're going to go up and hit the Save button. And our query name is going to be 19th Amendment. And we're going to hit say, OK. And you'll notice that's the 4th item that shows up over here in our panel or pane. And that is going to be all. But we have one more thing that we need to do. So let's hit the X to close out of these. And then I want for you, something I forgot to mention was that one thing that is great about Access is that it will save your files for you. It first of all asks you what you want to save them as anytime you try to do something to it, and it'll save it periodically for you. So you'll notice that we don't even have the opportunity or the option to hit save. So let's close our file.